What's up, everybody? It's Zach, the Celtics guy here. I'm back with another video, and I'm sorry I haven't been posting as much lately. I've just been crazy busy. I've been working a lot of overtime, and I've been fucking exhausted and overtired as of late, so I barely have had any time to make any videos. But now that I got some time and my work schedule next month is going to be a little bit more open, I'll be able to make more videos going forward, or at least I hope so, or I'll try to post as many videos as I can, because I definitely have a lot of ideas in the works for all of you. And today I wanted to discuss an issue with the former CNN commentator and politician from Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum, one of the most bigoted figures in the United States of America. Rick Santorum is basically the Jair Bolsonaro of the U.S. Rick Santorum has a history of saying all sorts of bigoted, outrageous, and untrue things about women, gay people, racial minorities, religious minorities, and so on and so forth. But with Rick Santorum, the word bigot is one of the best ways to describe him. And no, I'm not just throwing around the word bigot because it's my opinion of Rick Santorum. No, number one, I don't like the piece of shit. That's number one. And number two, we're literally quoting him exactly what he said. There's like literal quotes of him making bigoted remarks, especially about gay people in particular. But this time, Rick Santorum went so far that CNN terminated him. CNN had enough of Rick Santorum. They fired him. They cut ties with him over bigoted remarks that he made about Native Americans in the United States of America. Sorry about that. So, with regards to what Rick Santorum said, his comments about Native Americans, quote, "We birthed the nation from nothing. I mean, there was nothing here," Santorum said. "I mean, yes, we have Native Americans, but candidly, there wasn't much Native American culture in American culture." While speaking at an event organized by Young America's Foundation last month, a now former CNN senior political commentator falsely and callously claimed Native American people have had no influence on U.S. culture and said that there was nothing in America before white colonists arrived. Not only is Rick Santorum proving that he's a bigot, not only that, he's proving that he is a fucking demented moron who doesn't know anything about American history. Because the Native Americans were butchered by white colonists. That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay? That is a fact. Native Americans or indigenous people and white colonists came in and basically butchered them. Butchered them, robbed them, took their land, all of that. And now barely any of them have a land of their own. That's history. That is the history of this country. No different than how Israel was created literally created by slaughtering the Palestinians, and they're continuing to do so to this day, but that's a whole nother story and a whole new topic for another video another day. So Rick Santorum has once again proven that he is a bigot. He has once again proven that he is an intolerant asshole and a fascist, and he has proven that he knows nothing. He has no evidence and no facts to back any of his claims, just like all of the other bigoted comments that he has made throughout history. We go back to 2003, when Rick Santorum made comments about gay people, bigoted comments about gay people, saying specifically that literally that gay sex was like man on dog. So he basically was comparing gay people having sex to bestiality. He was saying, and he supported sodomy laws in the U.S. In 2003, there was a Supreme Court decision called the Lawrence versus Texas decision to challenge the state of Texas on the validity of Texas's sodomy laws. And the Lawrence versus Texas decision nullified all sodomy laws prohibiting same-sex sexual activity in this country, or just sodomy, period. Because of, old sodomy laws inherited under, British colonial rule and so on. So yes, they did that. And then Rick Santorum made a bigoted comment with regards to that. He said specifically about that, not only just comparing it to, man on dog and all that. He was saying that, oh, well, if the Supreme Court says that you have the right to consensual sex in your home, then you have a right to all these different things. You have a right to incest. You have a right to all of this stuff. He said, quote, "In every society, the definition of marriage has not, to my knowledge, included homosexuality." That's not to pick on homosexuality. It's not, man on child, man on dog, or whatever the case may be. It is one thing. And when you destroy that, you have a dramatic impact on the quality. He further went on to say, quote, "If the Supreme Court says you have the right to consensual sex within your home, then you have the right to bigamy. You have the right to polygamy. Then you have the right to adultery. You have the right to anything. Whether it's polygamy, whether it's adultery, whether it's sodomy, all of those things are antithetical to a healthy, stable, traditional family." Yes. Who are we dealing with here? We are dealing with someone who is a bigot. We are dealing with someone who is a fascist. We're dealing with someone who is authoritarian. We're dealing with someone who is a bad person. We're dealing with somebody who is completely antithetical to the United States Constitution and everything that the Constitution stands for. Right to privacy, which would be a violation of the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, unlawful search and seizure. Rick Santorum does not know the Constitution. He would not know the Constitution if his life depended on it. He would not know the basis of freedom and the principles of freedom if his life depended on it. So, Rick Santorum has been known for making insane comments. He's also questioned whether or not Obama was a citizen of the fucking United States. He has said that, Palestinians don't exist. Just a variety of different things. Like I could literally go into a debate about what Rick Santorum has said. Like there are so many bigoted comments I would need to literally make like a fucking 2-day video because he said so many ridiculous things. So, now we come to the conclusion of now CNN, who I basically criticize on a daily basis because CNN is basically the Democrat version of Fox News. I don't like CNN. I don't like Fox News. I don't like any of the mainstream media because they're all fucking garbage. They all have their own biases. I only get my news from independent news outlets. So now I come to the conversation about whether or not I agree with CNN on the issue of them deplatforming him. Now, I've had this conversation on this channel a million times, and I'm sure I'm going to have it a million times more. Some of you agree with my position on this. Some of you don't agree with my position on this. Some of you may think, oh, well, but you're saying, but, freedom of speech has its limits and all that. Well, first of all, freedom of speech is superior. Freedom of speech is superior. But what are the limits on it? Obviously you wouldn't go into a theater and yell fire. Obviously you can't make direct threats of violence. Obviously you cannot do pure slander or defamation or libel or whatever you want to call it. You can't dox people. You listening, Killer Creed? You can't dox people. There's all sorts of different things that you can't do that are limited on the principle of freedom of speech. Obviously, there are certain limits. Obviously, there are certain rules that you have to abide by with the rule of law in a democracy and so on and so forth. So, now we come to the conclusion about whether or not I agree with someone deplatforming someone. even someone as bigoted as Rick Santorum. When it comes to the issue of censorship or deplatforming, here's my thing. I'm against it because oftentimes we pick and choose who we want or don't want on our platforms. That's what YouTube has done many times. You know, YouTube has done all sorts of censoring bullshit. I've covered that I've covered that multiple times on this channel. I've covered that. There's all sorts of different things. You know, there's all sorts of things that I will say, you know what? As horrible as this person is, you know, like, for example, Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump incited fucking violence on the Capitol Hill. Like our former president, you know, Mr. Orange Oompa Loompa, literally incited violence on the fucking Capitol Hill. And you know, Facebook, Twitter, they all terminated him. You know, I came out and I said, oh no, well, fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump for what he did. He basically incited fucking terrorism on the Capitol. But I would not censor him because of the biases in choosing who we want and who we don't want on this platform. So no, I'm against deplatforming in principle. But now let's get to the issue with Rick Santorum. When you have someone who we know is a bigot, we know has said insanely outrageous, disgustingly bigoted things that are extreme and bigoted and fascist on a whole nother level. See, that's the conversation. And not only that, Rick Santorum is totally unapologetic for what he said, and there's 0% chance that he would ever apologize, that he's ever going to change. So, there are certain platforms that are going to decide whether or not we're going to have this person on there for ratings and all that. Like, oh, if we keep this motherfucker on here, oh my God, like we're going to lose revenue, we're going to lose ratings, we're going to this, and this. So, my thing on the issue of Rick Santorum, not only did he make a bigoted comment, he made an untrue comment. So he made a defamatory comment about Native Americans. He basically slandered every single Native American in the United States of America. Not just being a racist and a bigot, but also being a defamatory racist and a bigot. So no, I wouldn't necessarily fire Rick Santorum. I would, on the other hand, rip him to shreds, and I would call him out every single day right to his face on CNN if I was running CNN. But now let's come to theory versus real world. No, in theory, fuck Rick Santorum. I would 100% support him getting banned. He deserves every bad thing coming his way. He's a horrible person. He's a bigot. He's intolerant. And he's a fascist and he's authoritarian. And he's basically a tyrant in the making. He is a wannabe cult leader. So, theory versus real world. In theory, I would be totally fine. I am totally fine with the fact that finally some big corporation finally stood up to someone as horrible as Rick Santorum is. But that's in theory. Now, in the real world today, there is censorship on the far left against the far right, as bad as it may be. In theory, I am glad that Rick Santorum's disgusting, bigoted views are being called out and are going to be less accessible, and the fact that Rick Santorum is now going to be made less relevant as a result. So I am totally in favor of that. I am totally 100% in favor of Rick Santorum's disgusting, bigoted views being discredited and denounced, and now because he's fired, he'll be significantly less relevant in the future. So am I going to feel bad for the fact that Rick Santorum got deplatformed? Am I going to feel bad that he got censored? File that one under fuck no. As a matter of fact, I actually feel pretty happy about it. I actually feel pretty happy that some big corporation finally had the fucking backbone to stand up to this scumbag. You know, Rick Santorum has been making bigoted statements since 2003 and probably earlier. So it kind of took it's pretty late to fire him, because it's like, out of all the bigoted comments that he's made over the years, This is the thing that took you guys, not the saying, oh, gay people are no different than man on dog, man on child, basically comparing gay people to pedophiles and zoophiles, but also just the other things like, oh, Obama's not a citizen of the country. Oh, I want to ban gay marriage. Oh, I want to bomb the shit out of Cuba and Venezuela. Which brings me to my next point. Rick Santorum is a hypocrite, because Rick Santorum has also said that Cuba and Venezuela are basically their dictatorships and they're not free, and Obama is like, oh, he's messing up on the issue on relations with the U.S. and Latin America. Oh, he's taking a page out of the Cuba, Venezuela, Chavez playbook, whatever the fuck he said back in 2011, 2012. Rick Santorum is the last person in the United States of America that has any backbone to talk about freedom, when Rick Santorum is a right-wing authoritarian and a borderline fascist. Rick Santorum is authoritarian. For him to say that he supports sodomy laws and laws that ban gay marriage nationwide, Rick Santorum is authoritarian. He is like Jair Bolsonaro. He literally wants to bring religion to schools. He wants to indoctrinate kids. He literally said that the Bible, that religion should be in the public spectrum more often than it is. They says that, oh, there should be religious teaching in schools and being mandatory. So Rick Santorum is not just a bigot and a authoritarian, he's also a theocrat. He is a religious zealot. He is a religious nutbag. And not only that, he's a fucking bloodthirsty war criminal, fucking bloodthirsty, foaming at the mouth, neocon fucking warmonger like George W. Bush, Benjamin Netanyahu style war criminal who wants to bomb every brown person on the face of the earth, and he literally wants to interfere with Cuba and Venezuela and Latin America and all that. But of course, you know, Rick Santorum would love the idea of propping up Jair Bolsonaro, propping up some right-wing dictator like Jair Bolsonaro or somebody like that, because Jair Bolsonaro is no different than Rick Santorum. I said this before, that like, oh, when people were saying, oh, like Jair Bolsonaro is just like Donald Trump, I'm like, no, not really. He's worse than Donald Trump. He's actually more like Rick Santorum. He's more like Tim Hulskamp. He's more like Marilyn Musgrave. He's more like fucking Pat Robertson. He's like all these other right-wing bigots. So, here's what Rick Santorum said following him getting fired from CNN. He said he blames cancel culture for CNN firing. Quote, CNN has a right to fire me if they don't like what I'm saying or what I'm doing, Santorum said during an appearance on Fox News' Hannity on Monday night. I have no animus at all towards CNN. I appreciate the opportunity that they gave me, but it does show that the left is intolerant. Rick fucking Santorum, the man who said that he wants to ban gay sex nationwide and ban gay marriage nationwide, is going to call other people intolerant. Can you say hypocrisy? I sure can't. They are worried. I'm sure that their viewership, which is obviously very left, was going to pay a price. And the intolerance of the left is really the issue in the cancel culture that is flowing it. And I hear from a lot of liberals, in fact, many CNN contributors, who talk to me after, who are very, very concerned about the cancel culture that is now hitting them, Santorum said. No, those people are probably fucking neoliberals that are really no different than the neocons. They're basically just fucking bloodthirsty war criminals too. Like CNN backs, you know, military intervention in Venezuela and Syria and wherever. Like when Jake Tapper was fucking praising Donald Trump for bombing Syria. You know, like instead of attacking Donald Trump for his real policies, like him wanting to fucking bomb Venezuela or bomb Syria. No, instead of attacking him on that, no, what do? They attack him on his mean words and all that other shit. So no, CNN is a fucking joke. But CNN is a joke, Fox News is a joke, Rick Santorum is a joke. All these fucking people are basically jokes. But kudos to CNN for doing this. Again, it's theory versus real world. And again, you can say this makes me a bad liberal, you can say this makes me a pro-censorship. I'm not pro-censorship. What I'm saying is Rick Santorum got what was coming to him. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, no, in theory, I'm against censorship. I'm against deplatforming. If we didn't have this bias, if we didn't have all these biases against one person and picking and choosing, I'd theoretically be okay with it. I'd be perfectly okay with banning someone like Rick Santorum. You know, if we do it only to like the worst people and the worst circumstances and stuff like that. But no, if some platform with someone like Rick Santorum, or say, for example, if the Christian Broadcasting Network went ahead and said that we were going to kick Pat Robertson off our network, I wouldn't shed a fucking goddamn tear. So now the fact that Rick Santorum has been banned from CNN, he has been fired from CNN, I'm not going to shed a fucking tear. I am not going to lose a wink of sleep. And like I said, I'm going to feel pretty happy about it. If I was running, like I said, if I was running CNN and somebody went to me and reported to me what someone said, and someone said to me, fire him. I'd be pointing at that door saying, don't let the fucking door hit you in the ass. And again, you could probably say that makes me pro-censorship or whatever, but I'm not. I'm not. Like I said, like I think a lot of people... Now, see, if you're against censorship for the same reasons that I am, or maybe for more, you know, obviously maybe for different reasons, you know, don't fall into the trap. Like, don't fall into the trap of but people could say, with regards to someone like Rick Santorum, like, oh no, fuck Rick Santorum, fuck that bigoted neocon, bloodthirsty, racist war criminal. No, I'm fine with him getting fucking banned, but I'm against deplatforming because oftentimes they pick and choose, and a lot of the times it's leftist censoring more conservative beliefs and things like that. So no, I'm against that. It would be like, now see if some right winger who is against censorship, but probably for the same reasons as me, and is saying, oh no, we gotta save Rick Santorum is a victim and all that. Man, you are handing over a victory over to Joe Biden in a way you can't even imagine. Because you're not going to win people over with goofy arguments against censorship if you literally say, oh yeah, Rick Santorum has a right to say what he wants, when in theory he does, but he shouldn't be afraid of the but you know, there are consequences for what you say. Just like Rick Santorum is free to say what he wants. Freedom of speech cuts both ways. CNN is not the government. So freedom of speech means Rick Santorum is not free from the consequences. Just like if you went up to your boss and you said, by the way, Kevin, fuck you, you're a fucking douchebag, whatever. Your boss would fire you probably in 2 seconds. Your boss would probably fire you in 2 seconds. So again, you are free to say what you want at your job, but you are not free of the consequences at your job. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to make the argument against censorship, I think you would win a lot more people over being against censorship and all that by saying, oh no, fuck Rick Santorum, I'm fine with them banning him, but I'm against deplatforming and all that type of stuff because oftentimes these big tech corporations pick and choose who they want and they don't want. Because, you know, like YouTube will oftentimes censor or deplatform and all that other type of stuff. They will, they did it to Gage. They did it to Gage the Doom guy. Back in 2019, they did it to other people. You know, they false flagged Damien Skyfire. They've done all sorts of different things. It's a bunch of bullshit. So no, when you have a thing where there's zero hope for Rick Santorum. He's obviously a bigot. He's set in his own ways. He's stubborn. He's not going to change. He's just going to say bigoted comments wherever he goes. He's a religious nut who wants to force his religion on the rest of humanity. And he's antithetical to the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution says that Congress shall not make a law establishing a religion. He is against that. He wants Christian theocracy. No different than how the Saudis have Muslim theocracy or how the Ayatollahs in Iran have the same thing. It's no different. But Rick Santorum screams, and he's a bigot against Muslims he makes bigoted comments about Muslims on a daily basis and screams about Muslim theocracy, but Rick Santorum wants a Christian theocracy. That's the difference. Rick Santorum is a theocrat in his own way. He is authoritarian in his own way. That's the difference with someone like Rick Santorum. And all these other people, like the Marilyn Musgraves and the Tim Huelskamps and the Tim Huelskamps of the world. That's basically what it is. So I'm going to say this one thing before I end the video. So, you got someone like Rick Santorum, a complete bigot, a war criminal, a racist, and a tyrant. You got someone like this. I'm not going to feel bad if they kick Rick Santorum off. I wouldn't shed a fucking tear if the FCC censored him on every single network in this damn country. I wouldn't shed a fucking tear. I would not shed a single tear. I'm not going to shed a single tear for Rick Santorum. I, as a gay man, me and my community, we have been insulted by people like Rick Santorum more times than I can care to count. So no, fuck Rick Santorum. I as a gay man who has been insulted by Rick Santorum and his fucking minions on a daily basis for years on end, no, fuck him. I'm not going to have any sympathy for him. I have no sympathy for Rick Santorum. And I think if you want to win in the court of public opinion on the issue of censorship, you can do an argument like, oh yeah, well, fuck Rick Santorum, but I'm kind of against it in theory versus real world. In theory, I support this because he's a scumbag and he's a bigot and all that. But in the real world, you got to be careful because oftentimes they pick and choose. You know, what if this was me? What if they interpreted what I said as bigoted when it really wasn't, because, you know, there's all the SJWs out there that'll false flag. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. In theory versus real world. In theory, fuck Rick Santorum. I'm glad he's gone. But in the real world, I'm against deplatforming and censorship. That's what I have to say. So no, I don't feel bad for Rick Santorum. I'm glad he got what was coming to him, and I wish nothing but the worst for him. Fuck that guy. And Rick Santorum, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Okay, retire and go to a place where you can never be seen or heard from again. Nobody cares about anything you have to say, except when you're in the news and we make responses to you like we are now. Otherwise, fuck off and go away. And keep your fucking religious dogma to yourself. You fucking fuck. But anyway, thank you all for listening, and like I said, I'll try to upload more videos and more stuff going forward. But yeah, I'm glad that I was able to make this video for you guys. Like I said, I've been really busy, but I won't be as busy starting next month with my job. I'll try to upload as much as I can going forward. I got more ideas and more other content in the works. Stay tuned to find out more and more videos on the way. I'm also going to discuss more about the Israel-Palestine conflict also going in the other countries and other stuff in the news and a whole bunch of shit in the works. Stay tuned. This is Zach, the Celtics guy, saying thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Comment. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye for now. Peace out, and have a good one. And Rick Santorum, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. See y'all later.